YouTube, welcome back for another video. Shout out to Johnny Arnett for another video. I've been doing a lot of these videos lately. I've been finding some real good content on this video, on this channel. Are the 85-86 Celtics the greatest team ever? I don't know. Maybe not. But a lot of people saying like the 96 Bulls are the greatest team ever. I forgot what year it was when the Golden State Warriors won, 73 games, 73-9 that year. I don't know, we'll see. But let's get right into the video. Make sure you subscribe if you're new and all the good stuff. And let's get it.
The 1985-86 Boston Celtics. They are universally recognized as one of the greatest teams of NBA history. Although the 80s were defined by super teams and rivalries, the 86 Celtics were never seriously threatened by any opposition that season. They steamrolled the league. Boston's starting five was one of the greatest ever on both ends of the court. The 6'4" Dennis Johnson started at point guard. Beside him was Danny Ainge at the two-guard spot. Then you had Larry Bird at small forward, and Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish down low. Beyond their fantastic starting five was their depth. Leading the bench unit was the 6'11" Bill Walton, who was that year's Sixth Man of the Year winner. Then you had guys like Scott Wedman, Jerry Seasting, Rick Carlisle, Sam Vincent, Greg Kite, and David Thirdkill. Looking at the result,
I didn't know Rick Carlisle played for them. The guy who's coached the Dallas Mavericks and I think he coached the Pacers at one point. I did not know that.
of this group, we see that the Celtics finished with a league-best 67-15 record. They had the third-best defense and the #1 ranked offense that season. They beat teams by an average of 9.4 points over the course of the season. They dominated the playoffs with a 15-3 record, and they had that season's MVP, Larry Bird. Their head coach was Casey Jones, who often doesn't get enough attention for the success of his team. He took over the Celtics in 1983 and spent 5 years there. In these years, they went to the NBA Finals 4 out of those 5 seasons, and they won the championship twice. He had this team playing hard defense, and the chemistry was off the charts. Larry was basically their verbal player coach and leader. It's often said that groups take on the image of their leader, and in this case, it's very true. If I had to describe them in a word, I would call them unselfish. The ball movement of this team was incredibly beautiful to watch. Whether it was on the fast break or half-court sets, Boston was always looking to make the extra pass. Speaking of their leader, Larry Bird won his third straight MVP that season with averages of 25.8 points, 9.8 rebounds, and 6.8 assists on 49.6% shooting. This was not among Bird's 50-40-90 seasons, but he was incredibly close. Something that people often forget is how Larry was also a very capable defender who made 3 all-defense teams in his career. Their consistent second scoring option, Kevin McHale, also had a monster season. He was almost always a sure thing whenever he was in the post and had his back to the basket. He had an incredibly high offensive IQ, some of the best footwork in the game, and amazing length with an incredibly high release point on his shot. When McHale was in the post, his teammates often called it the torture chamber due to the fact that he was so difficult to stop. That season, he averaged 21.3 points, 8.1 rebounds, and 2 blocks on 57.4% shooting. McHale was also first-team All-Defense that year. Speaking of defense, where they really stand out among the all-time great teams is their interior defense. Bird was 6'9", McHale was 6'10", and Parrish was 7'1". It wasn't just their height, but even more so, their length. We don't have a recorded wingspan for Parrish, but it looks like it was at least as long as his 7'1" height. McHale, on the other hand, had a freakish 8-foot-long wingspan. Assuming that estimate is completely accurate, that would give him the second longest wingspan in NBA history. Coming off the bench was another 6'11" big man, Bill Walton, who averaged 1.3 blocks and only 19 minutes played per game. Between Parrish, McHale, and Walton, you have solid rim protection for all 48 minutes of the game. This aspect was crucial to their success in the 1986 NBA Finals. The Houston Rockets were just coming off of beating Magic, Kareem, and Worthy's 62-win Lakers. Houston eliminated Los Angeles in only 5 games. With that being said, basketball is a game of matchups, and as good as the Twin Tower tandem of Ralph Sampson and Hakeem Olajuwon were, you're simply not going to beat the 86 Celtics with size, and Boston handled them in 6 games. One of the less talked about starters from the Celtics was Dennis Johnson. Dennis was the starting point guard, and over time, he's actually become one of the more underrated and overlooked players of NBA history. He was a former Finals MVP winner back when he won the championship as a member of the 1979 Seattle Supersonics. He was averaging 15.6 points this year with the Celtics, but he had got as high as 20 points per game during his career. Johnson's final All-Star appearance was just prior to the '86 season, and he received 5 All-Star selections in total. He was also the Celtics' best perimeter defender, who they relied heavily upon to slow down the great scoring guards in the league those years. He was second-team All-Defense that season, and in total, DJ received 9 All-Defense team selections over the course of his career. He was also known to be a big-game performer and had a smooth mid-range jump shot.
Oh, yeah, he did.
You could say that their 6'4" shooting guard Danny Ainge was the worst player in their starting 5, but he was certainly far from a bad player.
No, he
Danny
wasn't that
averaged
bad.
10.7 points and 5.1 assists through the season, and he was actually very efficient in his contributions as he shot 50% from the field, 36% from three-point range, and 90% from the free throw line. Danny was also incredibly scrappy, he was a big trash talker, and one of the OG floppers of NBA history, which can easily be seen as a negative, but I can tell you as a Lakers fan who watched him play, there were plenty of times where Danny knew how to get under the offensive player's skin and would get the ref to make the crucial calls when they mattered most. It was super frustrating to me, but only because he was good at it. The Celtics were never seriously challenged in that postseason run. Despite a 49 and 63 point performance from Jordan, they swept the Bulls in the first round. After that, they easily handled Dominique and the Hawks in just 5 games. Then they swept Sidney Moncrief and the Bucks in the conference finals. As I mentioned earlier, the Rockets did push them to 6 games in the NBA Finals, but the Celtics got up to an early 3-1 lead, and the series was never really in doubt. What makes the '86 Celtics so dangerous is that they can attack you in so many ways offensively while being so versatile defensively. There isn't another team in NBA history that I could put against the Celtics in a 7-game series where I would feel like the Celtics wouldn't do well against them. On offense,
I can think just one just popped in my head that I might be wrong on. The Spurs when they had Avery Johnson, who's a shooting guard? I forgot. Vinny Del Negro, yeah. Sean Elliott, Tim Duncan, and David Robinson. Now that was a pretty good team.
They could run the fast break, but they could also slow it down and run things through the post. They could pick and roll you all day with their bigs. They could punish you from the outside with the all-time great shooting of Larry Bird, or they could simply run the isolation through McHale, which is always a good option. Boston natives know this already, but for the rest of you, it's important that you recognize the 1986 Celtics have a legitimate case for the title of greatest team of all time. Let me know in the comments section where you rank this squad among the greatest teams ever. Thanks for watching as always. Make sure to like and subscribe for more NBA content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
If I was to rank that team as one of the best teams ever, maybe, if not the best, maybe like behind that 96 Bulls team, or behind the Warriors team that went 73-9. But the way the game was played was changed by it. By the time way behind before the Warriors had won their championship, they went 73-9. But I don't know. It's tough, man. Like the 95-96 Bulls, or the 85-86 Celtics, or the 87 Lakers. I don't know. Y'all decide. Y'all comment down below who y'all think the best team of all time. I'm out. Peace. What's this?